Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be continuing What If Naruto Had Cremation. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the video.
You are watching Shinobi LX. Enjoy.
Anyway, if you haven't watched the first part, I recommend you go watch that one. But we're just gonna jump right into it. We're not even gonna have a recap. So Naruto, after saying what he said in class, he goes and he sits down in his chair, like in his chair. So as he goes and sits down, my bad, I had to turn on something because I'm talking relatively low. Wait. So as like Naruto goes and sits down in his chair, Hinata follows behind him, and like everybody's watching Hinata because they're expecting Hinata to get burned because Hinata's not really approaching Naruto with respect. He's kind of just chasing after him. And when Naruto sits down, he turns and looks at Hinata, and he tells Hinata, maybe you should just sit down and continue with the class and not worry about him. And Hinata like asks him, where is that coming from? And Naruto doesn't even respond. And when Sasuke looks up at Naruto, Naruto looks at Sasuke and just doesn't even when he looks at Sasuke, Sasuke tries to like make it look like he's stronger than Naruto. But when Naruto starts looking at Sasuke like back, Sasuke notices that Naruto isn't necessarily playing. Like Sasuke doesn't play around either, like with his like with the way he is, but Naruto is just on a totally different like level of mad. So like Sasuke turns back around and Hinata she starts paying attention to the class, and Iruka goes on with um with the class, and Naruto gets called out of school, but an Abo member comes to like retrieve Naruto. So the Abo member knocks on the door, asks Naruto, tells Iruka to let Naruto leave early. So Naruto gets up and he walks out the class, but when they look outside, when Hinata looks outside the window, she sees like another group of like Abo members, and she sees Naruto walking over there to them, and one of them like grabs Naruto's shoulder, and Naruto like just stops and he turns around, and the window was open, and Naruto wasn't talking loud, but any good ninja, like any decent ninja, would be able to hear what Naruto was saying. Naruto basically goes on to tell them that the people that he knew, his friends, his own version of his own, like his own idea of his own family, is dead and no one could replace them. Not anyone in that school, he points into the school, not anyone out here, referring it to anyone in the village. And he points at them and was like, and none of you can. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't. Because they trained me, they raised me to be the person I am today. I wouldn't have this power if it wasn't for them. If you honestly think I'm going to make sure, like if you honestly think that I'm gonna trust you you five, you're sadly mistaken. And the shorter, like one of the shorter ones, like this short girl, like tells Naruto, like, gee, that's no way to talk to your to your new quote unquote family. And she starts laughing. And Naruto looks at her and like she already knows, like she read Naruto's like thing. Like Naruto's like a whole little folder before you. Any person that's like trying to train to be with Naruto, to like be in the same area as Naruto, has to read like some small like little pamphlet on what Naruto's ability can do. So Naruto looks at her and he like he looks at her and he looks away. He starts walking and they all are following behind him. But when they get inside of like the when Naruto gets inside of his house, the girl begins to nitpick with Naruto again. She's like a little bit older, like she's like 16 and everybody else is like in their 20s. So keep in mind Naruto's still a kid. So Naruto after like she stayed nitpicking with Naruto as teenage girls do. She stayed nitpicking. So after school, everybody's like just like in the class. Hinata's worried about Naruto, but she also doesn't want to miss her work. So she's doing her work, but she's still worried about Naruto. So when Iruka starts talking to them about how to throw shuriken, all they see is like this massive like blue flame come from like one side of the village. It wasn't big, like it was big, but it wasn't big enough to destroy a whole half of the village. It was just enough for everybody in the village to see it. So Hinata, without wasting any time, she gets up and she just runs out the class. And Aruka tries to stop her, but she's already gone. Like she then dipped. And when Hinata gets to Naruto's house, this 16-year-old girl is lying on the floor screaming in pain. And Naruto's just standing there. And this is basically what happened. Like this is like gonna step back a couple of seconds. So before, the whole blue flame thing, she had said something referring isn't to the little girl that was in Naruto's previous Anbu squad, the people that were watching over him, saying that for Konoichi, as good as she was, she wasn't necessarily that good because she just died without even trying to help her team. And Naruto goes on to ask her, how does she know that? And the girl was like, it's simple, because we were the people that found the bodies, and she was thrown underneath the Genjutsu at the beginning, and she got stabbed through the chest, just as a weakling should die. She wasn't even worth that. And that's when Naruto, kind of. So when Hinata gets there, she realizes like she can't get close to Naruto because it's so hot around him. But the girl, she's screaming in pain, as I said before, because she just got half her fucking body incinerated. Not like it's not completely gone. It's just like third-degree burns all on like one side of her body. And Naruto picks her up. Not picks her up. Naruto like walks over her and was like, it's funny. When she died not feeling anything because she was underneath a Genjutsu. But I want you to feel every bit of this. And he like just like a whole like massive blue flame like burst comes out of his hands. And by the time he's done shooting it, she's nothing but ashes. And like all like the flames subside and go away. And when they do, Naruto looks over and he sees Hinata, and she's kind of like scared, but not, but she doesn't know how to react because she just saw Naruto incinerate some random female. So she like Naruto expecting her to run, he looks away, but Hinata, she tells him, like, she runs up to him and she asks him, "Is he okay?" And Naruto looks at her and was like, "I was expecting for you to run, just like the rest of them do." And Hinata was like, "Well, you're the only friend I have. Why would I run from you?" And Naruto looks at her and was like, for someone that just seen me kill someone, you're pretty clingy. And Hinata like completely like just she doesn't even bother to pay attention to that. She notices like Naruto's hands are like kind of like the skin on Naruto's hands are kind of like burning, like it's peeling off. And she asks Naruto, "Does that normally happen when he uses his ability?" And Naruto shrugs his shoulders and was like, "Yeah, pretty much." And like shortly after that, a whole bunch of like Anbu members, like the third Hokage, Kakashi, Aru, like all of them start coming, like appearing over there, like jumping over there. And Naruto, like they're just sitting, like Naruto and Hinata is basically arguing about how Naruto shouldn't be using his power if he burns his hands. And like Hiruzen addresses like yells Naruto, like basically calls Naruto's name, and Naruto stops and he turns around, and he tells Hiruzen that he didn't ask for another family or another squad. The fact that you still gave, like basically just telling him like the fact that you still gave me one was so disrespectful. I didn't ask for one and you still gave me one. You know what? And Hiruzen tells Naruto like you can't just go around killing people. You're a murderer, Naruto. And Naruto looks at him and was like, "You know what's funny? That's the least insulting thing I've heard over the past week. I've walked down the street today and been called demon 3 different times. Why? I don't know." And then Danzo and his like little Ambu appear, and they're like, "Well, Naruto, since you think you can just go around killing people, he should be killed and the Nine Tails extracted away from him." And Hinata tells like Danzo he can't do that, and Naruto stops and looks at Danzo, and he gives off like this weird little, he gives off the Dabi smile. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. But Dabi has this smile that's fucking creepy, and it's funny, but like he gives off like that little he gives off the Dabi smile. And okay, if you haven't watched My Hero, kind of, if you haven't watched My Hero but you've watched Dragon Ball, it's kind of like the Super Boost smile, but just slightly more chill. And like one half of his body was covered in flames when he did it. So he gives off the smile, and he looked at Donzo and he was like, for someone that has so much of his body covered, he sure do talks a lot of game. And since you want me dead so bad, come over here and do it yourself. And Kakashi tells Danzo that he won't allow him to kill Naruto. And Hiruzen was like, yeah, no one was going to be killing Naruto. He just needs to be reprimanded for what he did. And Naruto laughs like a lot, like he just starts dying. And he was like, for me to be reprimanded, you would have to be able to punish me. No punishment that you can do will change my opinions. And like Hiruzen tells Naruto that he might not even be able to become a shinobi. And Naruto was like, I don't care. If I can't become one here, I'll become one somewhere else. Everything I do now is to get vengeance for my family. And this is where I'm in this part off. If y'all jump. Oh, wait. Ah, shit. Yeah, this is where I'm in this part off. Yeah. Yeah, peace out.